Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. The time is now 3:30. I call to order the meeting of the Human Services Committee. Please silence your phones and electronic devices, and at this time, I ask you to please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doreen, can you do a roll call?
Absolutely. Emo.
Here.
Ellers.
Here.
Feller. Rosella.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Patel. Here. Tui.
Here.
Ramos.
Here.
Present, one absent.
Thank you. All right, so first on the agenda, we have Christopher Molinelli, Executive Director of Honor EHD, for an update for us. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to be back.
afternoon.
Greatly appreciate it. Hope everyone's summer's going well. Quick update. First and foremost, thank you all for inviting me back. I think I've had the privilege of meeting with you at least yearly for the past 5-6 years. So I take it with great privilege and pride to give you honor updates and some thoughts and opinions of what's going on an honor perspective. So thank you very much. Can't thank our Commissioner Lacey Trumbull for all that she has done and her staff. We're on monthly meetings with the state, talking and trying to be as proactive as possible with some of the challenges that we currently face and we might be facing. So it's very comforting to know that I can call anybody here and be very responsive. So thank you very much. Since the last time we met, Honor has expanded its services, and this is just informational, to Dutchess, Sullivan, and Ulster. So we do have presence in each county. We are operating in conjunction with the Dutchess County, the emergency shelter in the city of Poughkeepsie that serves the entire county. So Honor's been on the move. Just wanted to inform you of that. Want to thank our wonderful staff at Honor. I'm blessed from our Chief Financial Officer, Catherine Morgan, Chief of Staff, Elizabeth Schmidt, Olivia Voice, and all the dedicated staff each and every day. I get to talk about it, but they're performing miracles every day. First page is our mission and our vision. We talked about that in the past, so if you have any questions, we're more than happy about that. I think our vision is rather simple: safe and affordable housing for all. I think that's something that we can all agree is needed. A dedicated Honor staff. We recently were able to bring on a PR director, so I want to thank Patty Mack for putting this all together. She makes me sound a lot smarter than what I am, so I want to thank her. So Honor is led by Chris Mullen, our regional leader. That's all Patty Mack. So thank you very much. I will concentrate on the programs that we just sponsored in Orange, 24 in all. Okay. According to our annual report, we have the blessings of touching the lives of 97,717 souls throughout the 4 counties, predominantly in our food pantry. But these are all the programs that are offered to those living in Orange County and are accessible to any of your constituents and anyone in our community. Okay. Our adult and family shelter, we spoke about that in the past. On any given night, we have the blessings of serving up to 136 men, women, and children. Breakdown is there for you. Majority of our nightly census is children on the age of 17, and that's our definition of a child: 17 and older, and young adult is 18 to 24. But our youngest tonight is a couple days old, and our probably most mature is in their 80s, 90s. Okay, so wide variety. After your hospitals, police departments, and such like that, assisted living. I think Honor is one of the largest 24/7 facilities in the Hudson Valley, so individuals. So we're very privileged on that. Honor is the home of the first sensory center and an OTDA licensed facility. So New York State has licensed Honor to be a provider of homeless services, and we were the first in space, for lack of a better term, of saying something like this shouldn't be unique, it should be standard. So other counties have looked at that, and we're hoping through the great help of our friends at Orange County Community College, through our friends at Light It Up Blue and Orange County Think Differently, they made that dream come to life. We're also home to the Merlin's Magical Space, which is Legoland room. For those of you who may be able to tour with us, we opened that about 4 years ago, 10th in the nation, 50th in the world. So when you get to the Legoland website, Honor's eventually there. Those are all the services that we provide 24/7. It's our adult and family shelter. Friends House Runway Homeless Youth Shelter, also located on the Middletown Community Campus. which is being brought back to life and revitalized with each passing day. But our Front Runway Homeless Youth Shelter, we've had the privilege of assisting over 250 youth over the past 2 years. The difference between our adult and family shelter and our youth shelter is, believe it or not, they're 17-year-old and younger, who don't have a place to go tonight, or we might be complementing the services of the Department of Social Services while they're investigating concerns or something.
I just to bring my age, I smile when I see that, because I was around, among others, I was working with John Irick, and
Yeah.
look at this title.
Yeah.
I don't know, did he come up with somebody?
That was, John Irick was, he was a pastor. I believe.
Yeah.
He was president of our board of directors. And in tradition, you want to name your program after, your president or someone very worthy. And they recommended Irick House. And he was adamant he did not want that to happen. He said, I want to call it a friend's house, because if a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, 15-year-old is at school and they go, where are you staying tonight? He said, I'm staying at a friend's house. So
It's really cool.
it's just beautiful. Some things just, they hit the heart.
John worked for me at the outside, he was my head, like the prospect services, had PhD and was MD from Yale.
Yeah.
Retired and decided he just wanted to come back.
Honor is,
We lost him pretty young.
we did. He was a good man. I owe him very much for his trust and faith in me. Contrary to, we're in our 52nd year of operation, our 50th official anniversary of incorporation will be next year, so we're hoping to celebrate that with everybody. Contrary to popular belief, I've only been there 29 years, so I haven't been there for the whole, and I was about 6 foot and I had darker hair. So that's our friend's house. Our food pantry, and this is something I would like to emphasize. In the past, and when Father Irick was our board president, today Martin Harnick has taken the reins and done a phenomenal job. He leads by example and the epitome of what you want in any board of directors president and our whole entire board. But our food pantry was just a response to whatever dollars Honor might have had. But it was about 2 years ago that we were awarded a very heavily competitive New York State Department of Health grant. And the beauty of this is 80% of the dollars I spend on local farmers or anyone on the New York State website that is an approved seller. I buy their surplus, I buy their groceries, I buy my cows from Mary, I buy my milk from Joe, but I'm putting money back into the community. And literally 6, 7 a.m. every morning, getting deliveries, but we're putting that food directly back into individuals' tummies by the end of the day. This food pantry is very unique in that we have early morning hours for those that might be seniors, and we have late night working hours for working families. As we move into the future, I think it'd be very important that we get this information out to as many people as possible as a possible response to if there is a need or shortage. This program is designed to currently assist those individuals, but I think could be even more of a complement, not only to our farmers and the heartbeat of America, but to those that are hungry tonight. So any help you could assist me with, whether it's PSA, whether it's any, I would be greatly. Sadly, you could drive by Honor at any time, but they're open. I will get you the hours, and the lines are probably way too much longer than any of us would like. So, but this is all fresh-based. You name it, we have it. We'll be turning it back into a shopping experience in the very near future. So, look forward to that. Another initiative that we've had boots on the ground since, I lose track of time here. It's 2025. So. December of 2023, Safe Options Support Critical Time Intervention. And what is that? This program is a state initiative that covers 2 territories, Honor and Dutchess. Honor and Dutchess were married together in this initiative and further initiative. My only explanation for that is that we're similar in size and that we share, major cities and such like that. And our point in time counts for the annual point. So they married our 2 counties together. What is this? It is a street outreach team, a team of 9. They are on boots on the ground 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. You have 4 case managers, a team lead, 2 clinicians, and 2 peer advocates. We collaborate with our friends at Access Supports for Living for the clinicians and our good friends at People USA, who are located in Dutchess, yet have offices throughout the Hudson Valley. This is a program where we do encounter individuals where they are. Referrals can be made from anyone at any time, day or night. This is a program that we don't ask what's wrong with you, we ask what happened to you. There is, on average, 4 to 5 engagements before that individual provides, begins to put trust and faith in us. But picture, if you will, other than just kind-hearted individuals, we do have licensed professionals in the clinical and peer who can relate and also provide immediate clinical work. I can say that well over 100 men and women, adults, have been taken off the streets of Orange County and Dutchess County and placed into either emergency, transitional, or permanent housing within the past year. So the numbers might be, with regards to our point in time, which I'll get to in a minute, are might not be anything that any of us are comfortable with, but with the assistance of Lacey and New York State, Honor, and the county are doing everything we can to be as proactive as possible to those initiatives. That's SOS. The continuum of care, these are our federal dollars. The continuum of care is what Honor is currently the collaborative applicant. We received $4.6 million in HUD funding that Honor applies for. We are funding 8 agencies, 16 programs, which are housing over 300 individuals who are once defined as chronically homeless. And the definition of chronically homeless changes with every year. 3 times in 18 months, 6 consecutive months. So that definition changes. Well, I mean, depending on who you're speaking with. But this is the definition. With the recent news coming out of the passage of the bill, this is what we should continue to keep our eyes on, because Honor and the COC are bringing $4.6 million into Orange County to keep 300 men, women, and children. That's domestic violence. Those that are children are housed throughout multiple units throughout Orange County. I have been as proactive as I possibly can be. Do have another call with Senator Gillibrand's office on, with a representative. I'm part of a much larger state COC, and we're going to continue for the advocacy. Right now, there's a lot of speculation. The bill calls for the elimination of COC funding. However, what we do know is we don't know when, how, and what our next pivot. Well, I have plenty of pivot moves, but the reality is we will have to continue to advocate. And right now, my biggest concern is that the voices of those on the front lines, our first responders, our police officers, our fire department, our ERs, have advocated for years of them being overwhelmed and not being able to get to these dollars are a direct reference to their advocacy over the past year. So I will keep you updated on that. I will always remain tremendously hopeful, and whether or not they change permanent into transitional, I do not know. So there are a lot of what ifs, but these are $4.6 million in federal funds that come to Orange County that if the worst, we will have to discuss it. Okay, but I remain tremendously hopeful. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and I assure you, I do everything I can to have honor and at the table. But that is our COC. Very proud of the work that that is doing. As a result of every year, in order to maintain eligible for COC funding, you have to do a point in time study. Okay, and our point in time study is conducted usually in the last week of January. Many of you have assisted me with doing PSAs because the community does listen to each of you. And if you see something, say something. Those videos you provided me, then I tell you, and I credit those as well as our continued deepened work with our police departments or veteran agencies. That one, I think the count and the teams have gotten much larger, so we can cover more ground. Our recon work prior, the SOS team with having boots on the ground even before a count, and just public awareness to this has put reflection on the fact that we do have more homeless families residing in hotels, and that we also do cover more ground when it comes time to the count. We also recognize that Orange County's population is on the rise, and with that, not only everything is touched with population. So you will see that there was an increase of individuals from 2024 to 2025. And that number could only increase if all those COC funds are eliminated. So I assure you, working in conjunction with Lacey and her team, other not-for-profits. We are trying to be as proactive as possible. The 961 total individuals is nothing any of us want to see. But without our services, I think that number would be higher. There are probably individuals out there that we're not reaching. But I assure you, our first meeting on the point in time count 2026 is happening on October 2nd. So you will all be invited and welcome for your input. Any questions? Orange County Outreach, this was an initiative that Orange County born and raised. So Orange County put dollars towards, and this is different from the SOS. This is just Orange County Outreach. I have a staff member that's been in the agency over 27 years. She's performing this task on a daily basis. Her name is Jen Gurney. Many of you probably know her. And she is in essence your first touch base. I mean, anyone from Lacey's office, anyone from here can call. We will send her out, and she does a lot of recon, does a lot of tents in the woods, such like. So this was a very proactive. So this was before SOS. So this was ahead of its time. So I think Orange County Hotel Case Management, as I mentioned earlier, and Lacey could probably speak better to it. We have seen a rise of individuals needing to be placed in hotel motels. Honor does its best, under the trust and faith of going out to the hotels and motels and providing case management services to those living in those areas. Health Homes Care Management, that's another state initiative. These are individuals that receive Medicaid benefits, but have a care manager that we all know that unfortunately, if we know someone who may have had a heart attack, who might be battling cancer, there are protocols or doctor's appointments that need to be kept up with. And these are case managers or care managers who specialize in health management. We know if somebody misses their second follow-up cardiologist appointment, the probability of going back to the hospital is significant, right? So they are very intensive. They literally walk up to, I think our caseload is 70. I don't have my glasses, 81 individuals, and we are navigating their healthcare with their providers. So it's 81 individuals there. Housing First. There are 3 types of Housing First that Honor offers. There's your federal, there's your county level. Once again, Orange County out of the box, one of the first counties to sponsor Housing First. And then we also have OMH Housing First. And I believe, I did not touch on that, but that too, Honor was awarded the funding for OMH Housing First with regards to Orange and Dutchess and Sullivan and Ulster. So we're covering about almost 2,000 square miles with that. We have gone into partnership with Keller Williams of the Hudson Valley. You may have seen some of that on. So we wanted to bring in as many housing experts as possible. So they assist us with securing housing. There are PR material that I forgot to bring, but I can bring to you. I believe out of the pending 75 units throughout 4 counties, we are up to 20, which at the moment is leading New York State. So we were awarded over 25% of the beds that OMH awarded. Food services, just at Honor itself, I'm more than happy at any time, 140,000 meals, because when you're a licensed OTDA shelter, you have to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we pride ourselves in following all the basic nutrition and that of the Department of Health. We touch all 5 food groups. We are rated on Zagat's and on any of those food service sites. But I've always very impressed. It's probably the one thing that everything touches my heart, but just knowing our team is producing 140,000 meals. Pretty impressive. We have the blessing of being Honor the call center for Orange County. So after the Department of Social Services leave shift, 5 o'clock Monday through Friday, and over the weekends, anyone who is in need of housing or needing to be connected to adult protective services, child protective services for children that are already in care, Honor carries those calls and forwards them over or makes the placements themselves. Just for perspective, at the Honor shelter itself, I believe we housed 773 men, women, and children. That's just the Honor shelter. Okay. Honor Pride, this is more Patty Mac. Did we create the word pivot? I use it every day, so I don't know if I created it, I use it. So with any entity that's serving anybody, you have to be able to pivot quickly. I think that's one of the strengths of Honor. our administration. And that's just a little bit of what we're doing. I greatly appreciate your support. I greatly appreciate the questions. I take to heart any questions you have. And we are working diligently on possible few things, and maybe in 6 months I can come back and say we achieved out of the box and compliment the county.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your update. Really demonstrates the robust and just compassionate services that you all provide at Honor. Legislator Tui, you have questions?
Chris, how, when you say that you've reached out, and you're partnering with Ulster and some of the other Dutchess, how does the finances work? Do they bring resources? Do they cover it, or like do their
Yes.
county, I mean,
Yes.
obviously the federal and the state funding, like you mentioned, you got 4.6. So like, does Dutchess get 4.6 or somebody else get that, or how does that financial?
Dutchess does have their own COC, which is coordinated through an agency called CARES. Although we do the same thing, it's totally different. No orange dollars touches Dutchess, no Dutchess dollars touches orange. There's no cross placement. We don't take something from orange and put them in Dutchess, or take something from Dutchess. So.
So how, in what way are you partnering with them? You say that you're working with Dutchess.
We've taken over operation of their nightly emergency shelter in the city of Poughkeepsie that serves the entire county, similar to here.
So they provide funding for that?
Yes, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
I'm
that's-
nice, I'm not that.
No, that's, I'm just wanting to make sure that they're carrying their weight too.
They are, I will say that they are carrying their weight. Every community always vows that they could do better, but I would say that each county, I am blessed to work with Lacey and the commissioners, I think everybody's doing everything they can, and tremendously conscious of the work that each county is doing.
Good, thank you, Chairman.
No problem. Thank you so much.
You're
Anyone else? All right.
Just a statement.
Oh, sure.
My wife and I have donated a lot of furniture and
Oh.
other things, possessions and things. You wouldn't think about them at first, but I do. Whenever, like when my father died, they had a place that they could take it all. We just bought furniture at one of the showrooms in Middletown. And I was walking around and ended up near the back, and it was all kinds of furniture in the back. And it's furniture that is brand new and they throw out. So I hooked them up. I think it's going to work out. If you know someone, yourself or friends, that has furniture and it's good, usable, not beat, really good and new, they'll find a place, they'll find a person that can use it. So think about them when you have furniture that you hear about.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Thanks,
afternoon.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for joining
Pleasure to
us.
see everybody again.
All right, and next on the agenda, we have Lacey Trimble, Commissioner of Social Services and Mental Health, with a legislative request, supplemental appropriation for the increase in funding for daycare services in the Department of Social Services 2025 budget in the amount of $5,377,997. The funds represent a year-to-year increase to the original allocation as authorized by New York State, as well as funds left from the prior year's allocation. These funds are already calculated in the total use of daycare dollars for the current program year. There are no local funds involved. Legislative request 218, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
So this is the first year where counties are consistently running out of daycare funds, and we are no exception. We had to stop approving applications in April for the child care subsidy. This is only the child care subsidy, not temporary assistance cases. In order for us to move to a denial process for lack of funds, we had to get approval from the state, and we had to expend all of the funds, including our rollover, to do that. So unfortunately, this additional funding is to cover all of the individuals who are already deemed eligible and are already receiving the child care for the next 12 months. We will not be able to open any additional cases with these funds, but at least it covers what we have already approved. It is hard to tell families that we don't have any funding. The state did put additional funds into childcare, but with changes to eligibility, there is just not enough money to cover the number of people who are eligible.
And Lacey, can you share a little bit more on the eligibility? That was really helpful for me to understand. It would probably be helpful for the rest of the community to understand.
So in 2023, they started changing eligibility. One of the major changes, which did occur at the federal level, so the state does not have control of it, is that anybody who is at 300% of poverty is now eligible. For us, that means that a family of four making a little over 113,000 a year is now eligible for the subsidy. While I understand that, you know, as a mom, childcare is very, very expensive. It's a different calculation for somebody making over $100,000 than it is for somebody who's making minimum wage trying to afford childcare. That was coupled with a change at the same time to reduce the family share of contribution. So where localities used to have the ability to set what we thought was an appropriate family share, which Orange County previously had set at 5%, we are all now told that we have to set it at 1%. So that same family of four is now paying about $18.50 towards their weekly share. And those are things we don't, as a community, have control over any longer. So it's led to a lot more people being eligible, a lot more people who are accessing this service, but people who have been receiving this support for long periods of time are losing that support because you have to reapply every year. So it is heartbreaking sometimes to get these phone calls because we wish there's something we could do. And, you know, you can see this is a lot of money, but daycare is very expensive. And a lot of money doesn't necessarily cover a lot of children.
Do we have any data, and probably do, with your representatives about where usage is in the county? And do we have more in Newburgh, Milwaukee? I just don't know, is there any idea how it's used?
It is used throughout the county. I could see if we can pull it by zip code or not. There are some childcare centers that are very dependent on the subsidy for their families. Some of them we met with many of the providers. Some of them their staff are using the subsidy as well. And so their staff can no longer work there because they don't have the subsidy to help pay their portion of the childcare. So it's a big ripple effect for communities. I wish there was more I could do. But it's not an amount of money that I feel like we as a county can come up with a difference for. Our allocation without rollover was $13.4 million. That has all been spent plus all of this rollover that we moved in.
Do we get more applicants? I mean, is it, you bring them all together and decide 80% of the people apply, we can give it to, or is it who comes in first come, first serve?
It's who comes in first come, first serve, who meets criteria based on the federal and state standards. We are not permitted to prioritize based on what we need. It is something that we have advocated for, to have some flexibility both in the family contribution piece of it and in the determinations, being able to say we're going to prioritize based on level of need. But right now we don't have that flexibility.
Any other questions? All right. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and now for the monthly report.
So temporary assistance, and again, the families of temporary assistance are still able to access childcare. So at least that piece is still a positive for us. We provided temporary assistance to 1,533 cases in May. It's made up of 594 family assistance cases and 939 safety net cases, which is family assistance going up by 59 compared to April of last year, and safety net is up 114 compared to April of last year. We had 35 recipients enter employment in April for a year-to-date total of 139, which is higher than last year at this time, which was 114. So we are getting more people engaged in work, which is a positive. For the SNAP program, we had 18,828 cases who received SNAP benefits in May. It is a slight decrease from last month, and it's the lowest number of SNAP cases this year, but it is still higher than what we saw last year. There were 1,006 HEAP payments in May. Unfortunately, the HEAP cooling season was very short this year for the state. They closed it on 6/23, which was one of those 100-degree days. But those are, again, directives that we have to follow. Emergency housing placements, you can see the numbers are very consistent in the shelter. I have to say, I left Saratoga to get here, and I left a few minutes early from an emergency housing session at the conference I was at. And I feel very lucky that we have the robust services we have. Many of the other counties do not have any shelters at all and solely rely on hotels and motels. And there are some counties that don't have any hotels or motels within the borders. So having the level of service we have, even though it never seems enough to meet the needs, we're lucky that we do have that. In May, there were an average of 19 families and 47.4 singles in the emergency housing program. For hotels and motels, we had 133 families and 173 singles who were placed in hotels and motels. Our family-centered case management program has begun. We have a few of the contracts through, and really just working to connect with those families and try to get them to a point of self-sufficiency and being hopefully able to move out of those hotels into permanent situations. In May, 28 individuals were served by the Housing Resource Center, were able to move into permanent housing, which makes our year-to-date average 20.2. And you can see in our new chart that we added a couple months ago, that is significantly higher number of people moving into permanent housing than we had in previous years, which is really great news. Project Life averaged 13 families in May, and we had 824 individuals who were experiencing homelessness who received services in May of 2025. At 831 individuals is 94 more than last year. On the next page, in May, there was a total of 20,490 locally managed Medicaid cases. That's 148 less than May of last year. That is continuing to go down at a slow rate, but continuing to decrease with the unwind as people coming out of COVID now have to do the full recertification process. We again are in very good shape in that process compared to some of our other neighboring counties and across the state. If you have too many cases, there was a letter received from the State Department of Mental Health with a saying that they would withhold our Medicaid administration if we did not have the cases unwinding fast enough. We are lucky that we did not receive one of those because we're doing them within compliance with the regulations. Those cases equated to 22,559 individuals in May, which again is a slight decrease. Medicaid managed care numbers also decreased slightly month over month, down to 429, or down 429 compared to last year. We did receive a little additional data since the last time on this very busy page here. It shows the total number of individuals in Orange County who are on Medicaid rolls in a given month. Since the last report, we received the updated data for July 2024 through September 2024 and new data for October of 2024. The numbers are really remaining pretty constant. The larger number you see there is the people who are going through the exchange. The smaller number is the ones that are locally managed. Raise the age. The number for May was 14 total arrests, which is back down to kind of a normal number for us compared to our high in April. It's actually representing the exact same number of youth who were arrested, though, because in April we had one youth arrested multiple times. The next page is Child Protective Services. There were 315 reports of child abuse or neglect investigated in May. 182 were assigned to the traditional response, and 133 were assigned to FAR. The total is actually the same as last month, and has decreased, same as last month, and is decreased in comparison to May of 2024. So we're still seeing about the same numbers and the same trends we see in times of year in the reporting of cases. Foster care services provided out-of-home placement to 146 children in May. If you compare that to May of 2025, it's a decrease of 64 children. This number continues to decline, which we are very happy about seeing that decrease, and that more children are able to stay with their families. Adult Protective Services, total number of active cases, 294 in May, with 49 new individuals being assisted, slightly lower than May of last year. For home care, there were 335 home care cases in May. This is the same as we were seeing last month, which is interesting because you see in the chart, we had the same numbers in the same 2 months of last year as well. Our consumer-directed personal assistance program is doing a really, really good job of the transition to the single fiscal intermediary statewide. We, again, were not one of the counties that received any letters telling us that we were risking our funding for not doing it fast enough. The target is ever changing with this program, but our staff have just done an amazing job of responding very quickly and trying really hard to ensure that nobody loses access to care. Child support unit served 9,444 cases in May. Almost 4.3 million was collected and dispersed. The year-to-date total is 18 million. Our special investigations unit investigated 211 feds and EVR cases in May. That again is the prevention of inappropriate payments. The combined May cost avoidance for feds and EVR cases in Orange County is $722,688 for the year-to-date total of 4.1 million in the cost avoidance. The unit completed 66 investigations of allegations of fraud and abuse in May. 47 of those were found to have substantiated fraud. 28 resulted in overpayments. And just to clarify, those were when they completed the investigation. So they could have been investigating for several months on those. But really doing a great job of finding the problems on the front end versus on the back end. So we have much larger numbers of prevented issues than we have of things found on the back end.
Any questions? Thank you so much. And safe travels back.
One more.
That's true. Motion to.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. So I just wanted to say that, I don't know who was made aware, but just a couple of weeks ago, Marilyn Pierce, the founder of the warming stations in Middletown, had passed away. And they had fortunately just been able to dedicate the warming station in her name. But the community really has lost an incredible woman that I think I know that everybody will continue to work hard to, continue to make the warming station everything that it should be and that we want it to be, because it's a tremendous asset to the city of Middletown. And it's just very sad that the community lost such an incredible woman. So
Thank you so much for sharing that.
thank you.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.